Hi, my name is Nikki Story, and I am going to walk instructors through a brief overview of how to edit your class on udtslearning.net. First, you go to the website address, udtslearning.net. Once you have arrived here, you can see in the upper right-hand corner that you are not logged in. Go ahead and log in with the information you've received from the Distance Ed office. Click Login. Fill in your username and your password. If you have any trouble with this, contact me. Some sections that you may see. First, you can see that you are logged in. Thank you, Kristen Rice, for allowing us to use your login for demonstration purposes. You can see the calendar on the left-hand side. Underneath that is the important part, the navigation. And we're going to go straight to your My Courses section. You will see that there are two courses listed under Reverend Rice's login. We're going to go directly to her new class, MN 608. So you can see on the left side, her navigation block has expanded to include lots of different things, like all the weeks and that kind of stuff. Underneath that, you'll also see a settings block. So if you're ever thinking, I should be able to do more with this section, check that settings block. Sometimes there's helpful things in there. The first thing we're going to do as an instructor when you get to your course is to click Turn Editing On. This is going to allow you control over what is added and what is taken away from your class. As you can see, there is a short class introductory section up here. If you want to edit that in any way, there's a little button called Edit Summary. You can see it pretty good. But it looks like a little piece of paper with a pen over top of it, and it says Edit Summary. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to zoom back out. And right now you can see the information that's loaded here, so you can change any of it. Change your name or change how it displays any of the contact information. Make sure your current contact information as an instructor is there. Also, we generally have an office hours, but it is optional. So if an instructor is interested in adding, say, 3 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays as office hours when you are available via phone or Skype or something like that, and spell that out in this section. You can also put a short welcome to the class, excited you're going to be here kind of thing. The next thing you're going to look at is how do I add a picture of myself. So right now I have this nice smiley guy in here for Kristen's picture, but if she has a different picture that she would like to add, you can click on the image, and then you can click on Insert, Edit Image, and click Find or Upload an Image. And then you're going to go through the steps to find the image on your own computer. If you have trouble with any of this, of course, let me know. Once you've selected the image, you click Upload this file. It will put it in this spot. I don't know if you noticed, but this picture is actually left aligned, so that the pictures can, so that the words can go on the right of the picture. If for some reason you are inserting an image from scratch and it's not showing up on the left with the words on the right, make sure you go into this Appearance section and this alignment is set to left. You can also change the size of the picture if you feel it's too big or too small, and it is constrained proportions. So if I change this to 90, it will change the other one automatically, which is a nice little feature. The next thing is if you don't want the words to come directly up to the picture, you want a little space to buffer around there, I usually put a little bit of space on the horizontal and vertical. Then click Update, and if it gives you this little warning, it's basically just saying, do you want to add some words just in case someone's browser can't preview the image. So I click Cancel, and then I go to General, and I would put Reverend Kristen Rice in this image description, and then I click Update, and then it likes you a little bit more. So once you're done with this section, you can click Save Changes, and there you have some introductory information. If you want to add a let's say you're doing a class discussion every week. You want to click Add an Activity or Resource, and you click Forum, Add. Once you get to the Add a New Forum page, make sure you give it a forum name. This one will be Week 1. I'm going to go Week 01. And let's say that this class is bigger, so we need to split it into two different groups. Let's say you have 15 students or 14 students and you want 7 in each group, which is usually a good size, 6 to 7. Group 1, discussion. No, you can't spell anything when someone's watching. The forum introduction is a required box, and usually instructors will put the question for the week or whatever you want them to discuss. So maybe pick 3 of the following questions to answer within this week's discussion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us know what you feel the text is saying about the question, and let us know what you feel about the question. Please respond by Wednesday and initially, then come back later in the week to respond to other answers. You must answer / reply to 2 or more other students in your group. And again, this is just an example of what you may want to do with the weekly discussions, but generally the structure is give them a question that they must answer before the middle of the week, and then ask them to come back later after others have responded to the initial question and reply, so you build a little bit of the conversation. So we scroll down all the way, and most of this stuff you don't have to change unless you're having them attach things. So if you wanted them to attach a paper or any kind of sermon or anything like that, you might need to play around with the size that they can attach, but otherwise you can just scroll all the way down to the bottom and click Save and Display so that you can see your question and how the students will see it. So this kind of looks like it, right? So one other thing I want to show you from this view is that there's what we call a breadcrumb trail up in the upper left-hand corner. You see that? It starts with the Home, My Courses, MN 608, and then it tells you where you're at. So we are in Week 1, Group 1 discussion, right? So if I want to go back to the course homepage, I click on it here. And that takes us back to the course homepage, and you can see that we added that Week 1, Group 1 discussion to this, which is the Week 1 section. So if we were going to want to do the exact same for Group 2, we could click this little button that says Duplicate. Once we click Duplicate, we want to continue. And we do want to edit the new copy just to make it unique, so we're going to make this one for Group 2. And you'll notice that it keeps the questions, so that's very helpful. Scroll down again and click Save and Return to Course this time, because we already know that it's going to look good. We just want to go back to the course homepage. So you can see that we've added Group 1's discussion and Group 2's discussion for Week 1. And you can do that duplicate for any future classes, or you can click on Add an Activity or Resource and add the forum manually from there. The other thing instructors you generally need to do is add things like course descriptions or syllabi to their course homepage. So we are going to click on Add an Activity. Oh, the other thing is this top section stays at the top. So this would be general course information up here, like office hours or contact information or syllabi or group listings, so what group a student is in. This section down here is specific to the week. So this is week 1, this is week 2, this is week 3. So just so you know in organizing your thoughts. So let's go ahead and see how we would add this course description. So we're going to click Add an Activity, and because we are going to because we are going to just pretend, we're going to click File and let's say Add, and from here we would type course description. And this description is required, this description in here, but no one actually sees it and it's not really used for anything. So I generally just copy the name that I've used into that space. So down here is where you would select the file. So you would click Add a File and you would go find where your course description is saved. So let's say that we're using this course description, even though it's for a different class, for demonstration purposes. We're going to click Open, and you'll notice that the name of it goes right here. So then you click Upload this file, and it will pull the file into your course right there. The next thing I want you to look at and realize is this display. Display is pretty important considering how many people we have using tablets. I generally recommend using this new window as the option. You can also embed it so that it's embedded in a frame so that you can get back to your class pretty easily, but not all tablets can navigate through those frames very well. So when in doubt, go with new window. You can always play with it and see if you like it to display in a different way. Go ahead and click Save and Return to Course so that we can see that now we have added, and because it's a PDF, it has the little icon that's for PDFs. If you had uploaded a Word document, it would show a little Word document there. I do recommend using PDFs instead of Word documents, but whatever you have is fine. And when you click on the course description, it of course should open up, and if it doesn't, there you go. So it shows the course description and the student can print it off if they want to. So once again, to get back to our course, we can click here. Another helpful thing about this navigation is that if you have other classes you're teaching, you can navigate to other classes within there. So pay attention to where your navigation bar is. The other thing that you may want to look at is within this navigation, you can see participants. So you can click on participants and see who is listed. Hi Kathy, hi Jeff. In your participants list, I'm sure that there will be plenty more soon, but I haven't loaded this class yet. You'll also see that under this participants, you can see reports and general. So the reports is an area that a lot of instructors like because you can find out if a student is having trouble, if they've gotten into the syllabus or seen other things. So you can check out the logs of what students have done or activity reports. So that's always helpful. A quick glance tells you when students have accessed the course, but it doesn't tell you specifically what part of the course or that kind of stuff. So yeah. So those are two handy things that instructors use a lot: discussion boards and linking to a resource you are uploading yourself. If you were linking to a website, let's say you had a website that you wanted to link to, we can do that as well. Click Add an Activity, scroll down to the bottom and click URL. Click on the Add button, and let's say for some reason you have a link to Google that you wanted them to use. So we go google.com. We can use that as our description as well. And we can click external URL will be www.google.com. And this would be, of course, useful if you had something on the PCUSA site that you wanted to link to, or something specific to your class. And then you scroll down, and again, I choose this new window just so that it opens up in a fresh window, and you can click Save and Return to Course. So you can see that it links to google.com. When you click on it, it takes you to google.com. So that's another helpful resource. One thing that instructors generally like is to be able to build a box in this upper section that tells students what group they're in. So if you have a larger class, you click on Add an activity or resource, and we are actually going to do a label. And if you think of a label like a sticker you put on the outside of your class, this is going to be a label for group discussion assignments or something like that. Discussion, let's go, discussion board group. Okay, so then there's a little button to insert a new table, and this is just how I do it because it saves space. Do a new table, and you want 2 columns, and we can just do 1 row. Alright, and I generally set the width to about 450, and see how that looks. Go Insert. So you see that it built the block. So we go Group 1 and Group 2. So this is going to be kind of interesting to play with. When you hit Enter or the Return button on Moodle, it's actually going to double space it. So let's say Joe is in Group 1, and then we want to do Fred, but we don't want this double space in here. What I do is, instead of doing an Enter, I do a Shift Enter, which will give you a single space. So if you are struggling with spacing on Moodle, try Shift Enter to give it a single space instead of regular Enter for a double space. So Sue and Jill. So this kind of gives you a good example of how to do the groups. I usually try to bold, which you can do Control B or click on this bold up here. And that's about it. Sometimes at the bottom, to separate it from other information, I click on this Insert Horizontal Ruler. And go ahead and click Save and Return to Course and see what it looks like and play around. One other nice feature that Moodle offers is called Quick Mail. So if you want to send a quick note to your whole class or a specific section of the class, you go ahead and click Compose New Email, and you can select all, so you can add all, and you can go down, you can attach things, you can add a subject and a message. You can also create your own signature if you've already created your signature, and you can click yes, you want to receive a copy of it. This sends it actually as an email to the students, and it goes to whatever email address they have listed in Moodle. It also sends you a copy, so when they reply, it comes to your email. So this is a very handy way to contact students without having to look up their email addresses and type them in. So you'll also notice that there's recent activities on the right hand side. It generally lists when students or you do anything in the class. So students use it to see if you've updated any content and look to see if any of the other students have added anything in the discussion board or anything like that. Other things. If you are assigning students a paper, let's say a midterm paper, so around February you have a midterm paper that you would like them to submit on Moodle, you can click Add an Activity or Resource, and generally you are having them upload a single file, so it would be a paper or a sermon. So you can click on Upload a Single File and click Add. Assignment name would be whatever you want it to be, midterm paper. This description would be a little bit more descriptive. Basically, it would be all the instructions you either put in your syllabus or you would hand out before a paper is due. So it would tell them exactly how many pages it needs to be, what kind of formatting, if you were going to be specific in grading, what kind of formatting, how they should cite, should they use Turabian or what should they use, as well as what are they answering. Are there questions that you want them to specifically kit, or what kind of topics? So all that information should go in the description. If you want to put a short description here and then link to a longer document, let's say you have a 6-page paper that you want them to read about how to write this paper, you can also link it in here. So let's do that as an example. Midterm paper brief instructions, link to long instructions. So once you've got the words that you want to link, you highlight those link to long instructions, and there is insert or edit link up here, and you can upload whatever file you wanted them to read. So let's say it's this one. Open, and this is instructions for paper. Upload this file and everything should be fine. You would click insert, and then you can say when you would like them to be able to upload. So if you don't want them to be able to upload until, let's say, the 19th of January, even though it starts in the February, and you want them to have everything in by March 3rd, or whatever your dates are, you can specify them here. One thing you may note is you have the ability to prevent late submissions. You can click yes or no here. Most instructors do not mind late submissions, they just want to know if it's late. So, but if you are going to be specific and want them to have it in by a certain time, click yes, and it will prevent them from submitting after a certain time. You should also pay attention to the time. For most distance students, they prefer having as much possible time. So I usually set these to 0 when they open and as late as possible on the day they're in, unless you want it at 5 o'clock, and this is a 24-hour, so I'm not going to try to figure out what that would be. So you can set all of these other things, maximum size, pay attention to that. If they have to fill out some kind of a PowerPoint or publish a report and it's going to be larger than 1 megabyte, make sure you bump that up, or if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Go ahead and click Save and Display so that you can see your work, and you should be able to see, and the link to long instructions are there, so you can click on that. So to go back to our home page, you can click on MN608, and that should be enough for now to get you started on creating your new course. Have fun.